Hi, everyone. Welcome to Planted Seed. My name is Jessica, and I'm the founder of Planted Seed. Today on What's Your Story Wednesdays, we have Chris. We actually graduated together, so I'm so grateful that he's able to join us and, tell us everything, like what's going on and what he's been up to. So go ahead, Chris, go.
What up? I mean, yeah, graduate. It's been years. What I think
We're on our
Robert
20
Cruz.
year. We're coming up on our 20 year.
That's crazy, right?
Nuts. Time flew. I guess when
No,
you're having
man. No.
fun, right?
Man, I guess that phrase is true. Like I never thought it was true when we were going through school. I guess it is
No,
now.
not at all. Not at all. So tell us about yourself.
Oh, so I'm a North Bergen person, just like you. I'm a born and bred. Yeah, exactly. Red and
Bruins
gold,
all
bro. Red,
day. We bleed
red and
red and
gold,
gold.
red and gold all day. And I'm just blessed to have the opportunity to talk to you and kind of shed and spread what we're doing down here in Florida, and letting people know that it's right to give back to the community, and like what you're doing. You're a guidance counselor. You're back where we were, and and I don't want to say righting wrongs, but pushing people through some of the things that we could have been uh, tapped on as well. That we were kids. We didn't want to really listen, but
That's the
what
thing,
they
because the
yeah.
priorities are different at home. You don't know what their background is, what their circumstances are. And that kind of trumps the, schoolwork sometimes. But we have to try to figure out, how to have that balance, but also give them a voice and let them grow into the person who they're supposed to be and put them in their purpose. So let's rewind and I'll allow you to go into what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So tell me about your high school experience. Because I mean, I obviously
So
know, but tell me about your high school
you
experience.
do. So my high school experience, growing up in Jersey, Jersey is different. Jersey is a whole different beast, and a lot of people understand. And um, I was, I didn't like school. I wasn't a school person. You know that, Jessica. And I was the guy that I wanted to make everybody smile. That was my job. Hence, Mr. North Bergen. You know what I mean?
There it is.
um, but I was the guy that was walking the hallways all the time. Why isn't he in class? This that, and the other. I played sports. I was a stud running back. But holidays were my thing. You know that.
Yeah. Yep.
So anytime we had a holiday going on in the school, I dressed up as that holiday, and I didn't have not one fear about it. And I'm starting to see that in my son, and he just turned 5. So I'm like, Jesus, what's going on here? I mean, but
Your mirror.
it's a good it's a good trait to have, because I didn't have any fear,
Mm.
and I was probably one of the smallest people you've seen. I'm not that big. I'm 5'5", and I
Still
guess,
taller than me though.
but I guess the things I did um, took place of my physical stature, and my what I brought to the table just made it. The heart I had was made me 6 foot tall. So
Absolutely.
that's what people really need to understand is it's not what you bring physically, which is really what you bring mentally to the game, whether it's sports, whether it's school. It's locking yourself in and knowing what you want, and like you said, your purpose. Once you
Right.
figure out that purpose, you become 7 foot tall and you're
Yeah.
unstoppable.
Well, that was one of the questions that I want to ask that I usually ask is like, what was your insecurity and fear in high school? So I guess like you could say like one of your insecurities was being on the shorter side.
Yeah, for sure. Being on the shorter side, and I mean that's winning. That's winning the gene lottery.
Right.
I didn't win the tall gene lottery. Mom and dad are just as tall as me.
Right.
So I had to compensate. My compensation for that was how big
Your
my heart is
personality, your big
and my
heart. Yeah.
personality. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any role models or mentors growing up?
I did. I was thinking about that the other day, because that's what I'm doing now with these kids that I have in the middle school and high school over here. But growing up, my mentors, really thinking about it, and not to be cheesy, was my football coaches. You know, rest in peace. Vincent Askeles,
Yes.
Coach G, Coach Bart, a lot of them that are still there. You know, Coach Abe is another one. And if I had to do role models, like, you know, I was big on football, and as a matter of fact, I have his helmet right up there, and that's Ladian Thomason. You know, I had
Wow.
the opportunity to talk to him, and he signed a helmet for me.
Mhm.
And but you know, that's, I don't want to say superficial, because he's an amazing athlete, but it really boils down to the core. And where's the core? The core was my coaches, and those are the guys that pushed me to do the things I need to do, and give me the work ethic that I have now. And it's funny because now that I coach football, you know,
See
I would
that.
have called yeah, I see it, and I would have called Coach A in a heartbeat. And you know, I miss that guy to death, but I called Coach Abe Garcia about 2 years ago. I'm like, hey man,
Abe, good old
why
Abe,
what?
Abe the babe.
Yeah, I told him, I said, hey, why didn't you tell me coaching is so rewarding? And his response was, why do you think we do it? And
Mm,
I said, man, to be honest with you, coaching football is, to me,
mm.
more fun and more rewarding than actually playing a game.
Right, right. Because you're also, and it's going to be cliche, you're planting that seed in these
Hmm.
middle school, high school kids that maybe they don't get that confidence, they don't get that at home, they don't know how to even receive that,
Yes.
let alone perceive that. So, since you did say that you do work with middle school and high school kids, like what do you feel is like the common theme, their challenge right now, especially young boys? Like, what do you feel like their theme is?
So it's different in different demographics.
Hmm.
You know, being in a big city, tri-state area like where you're at, and in Jersey, you know, Bergen, Jersey City, Hudson County, where you call it. Oh, there you go. My screen dropped on me.
It's cool.
Um, you know, there's a lot more resources up there
Yeah.
for younger boys and students to be able to get to things.
Hmm.
Down here, there's a common thing that I'd see, and since I've been coaching 7, 8 years down here, there are so many broken homes down here. So a lot of these kids don't have positive male role models in their life. And when you don't have a positive male role model in your life, it
And
really,
it doesn't even matter boy or girl, but especially boys.
yeah,
Especially,
and yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter boy and girl. You need it on both sides.
yeah.
But when you don't have that, it forces that person to grow up faster than they need, and they end up losing their adolescence. They end up losing their teenage years because they have to figure it out, and they have to figure it out now.
Well, we
And
call that parenticized. They have to grow up so fast, and they just still have that inner child in them that's wounded, and
yes,
it's kind of when you come in. So you feel like
exactly.
more like the broken homes are like the common theme, and especially for boys.
It is a common theme. And then, just not having that support structure at home.
Yeah.
Not having that support structure at home doesn't give the kid an opportunity to make correct decisions, and or decisions that are going to help them in the future. I mean, I can tell you right now, uh, 2 days ago, my middle school team went up on a 7-on-7, and we won the 7-on-7 championship.
Right.
But before I went there, I went to a player's house who comes from a broken home, because he doesn't want to play football. Or I don't even know if he wants. I don't know what he wants, but
Mm,
because he doesn't have the structure at home. And I sat there and talked to him for almost an hour.
right.
And I said, either you're going to come with me or you're not. And he ended up not. His excuse was, there's people sick in the house, and I don't want to infect anybody. I said, I got to respect that,
Right.
but your butt's going to be here on Monday. And the funny thing is he said, I don't got a ride. I said, is that what's stopping me? I'll pick you up every day. I ain't a problem. And the first thing that came to my mind were the coaches that coached me,
Yeah.
who picked up people like Andre Kano. These are guys that we grew up with, that came from the same background that I see down here. And
Right.
now I see why those coaches did what they did, because they saw the potential. And as a coach, your job is to pull the best potential out of a person, or teacher, vice versa. You're serving your community.
Right. And as long as when you're serving people, especially community, but when you're also in service to people without looking for a
Anything in
reward.
return.
Right, right,
Yes.
right, right. When you're not looking for a reward, it's more rewarding to see
Uh,
just the person flourish. Do you have any um, you know, what would you tell high school Chris now?
I would tell high school Chris, why the heck weren't you in the weight room? Stop fooling around and chasing girls. Get you, hey, 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 get your butt in the classroom. Stop walking in the hallways. Um, it would have made a difference. And it always will. And being that high school Chris didn't have that mindset, and it's not that I didn't have the structure at home either. I just that was my personality,
Right.
and that's something that you also got to understand as being a teacher or coach. Everyone has their own personality, and you have to figure out how to tap that. When you figure out how to tap that
It's a
and
wrap.
what makes people tick, it's a wrap.
Right, right. So do you have any, so obviously the whole purpose of What's Your Story Wednesdays is also to speak about your story. But it's also for teens to watch this and they're like, man, I see a lot of myself in him. Like, I want to be like him. Is there any wisdom that you can give them, or any, small tokens, small gems that they can use to kind of just instill that confidence in them and give them that boost?
There's only one thing, and that confidence and that boost is listen, because there's a lot of people that are wiser. We're doing this interview here,
Right.
and I'm not. I mean, I still got a lot of learning to do,
We all do.
but we all do, and if somebody is providing you some experience, listen to it. Everybody has a story, and
Right.
you learn from those stories. You
Right.
learn from those stories, and a lot of people feel like they're in a hole. Man, I lost. I can't get this right.
Well,
I can't
failure,
do this. No,
because that's like
a
a
failure.
dagger to their self-esteem,
Exactly, a
ego.
failure. But the
Right.
thing is the thing is there's no to me there's no such thing as failure. There's no such thing as losing,
Mhm.
because with losing there's learning,
Right. Right.
and you
That's
can't
how you
and you
learn,
can't
by mistakes.
and you can't succeed without failure.
Right.
So those two things, if I was to tell anybody, is you got to get through them. And what I tell a lot of my players, what I ask them, what do you want? What's your goal? Make a goal. Make a realistic goal.
Mhm.
And when they tell me what it is, and I tell them everything you want is on the other side of hard.
Right.
You have to go through it. It's not gonna. You can't go around it. You can't go over it. You have to go through it. In order
But
for you to
that's the
get through
first
it,
step. The first step is always the
that's
hardest.
the first step. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so that's the one piece of advice I'd give anybody,
Mm,
whether it be a kid, whether it be somebody going through a tough time.
mm,
What do you want?
right.
And if you want that, you got to make sure you got to get through that hard. It's not easy.
So tell us a fun fact.
Fun fact. Fun fact. I got a lot of fun facts.
Come on, keep it PG.
Yeah, true. Let me fun fact. Besides football, I don't know if you know, but I DJed a lot. When I got out of during my Marine Corps time, 14 years, I'm a 14-year Marine Corps vet. I did a lot of DJing. I DJed for people like Pitbull and T Pain, and I got to meet these people and see what got them to where
And they're
they're at.
human, and that's the thing
They're
too. Like,
human.
we look at them as gods, but they're human.
They're human beings, man. They're pretty the coolest people. That
Mm,
they're at a level that we some people never see, because they get stuck in what we just finished talking about. They get
right.
stuck in the I can't get through the hard. And it's funny
That learns
because
helplessness. That's another thing.
yeah,
It's learned.
yeah. So I mean, I did that. Let me see. I work for the Pentagon now. That's a fun fact, I guess.
Yes.
Um,
I want a tour. Can I get a tour?
well, I work remotely, so
Ah,
so so
okay.
I'm in Florida. I don't go up there much. I go up there maybe when COVID started. Um, I normally do a trip maybe every quarter.
Right.
But now we're remote and Zoom like we're doing right now. I don't
Yeah.
gonna go
Thank
anywhere.
God for
Sit
this,
right here.
right?
Yeah, sit right here in my office and be comfortable.
Well, I have a fun fact, and I'm gonna put you on blast because I'm glad I had my yearbook handy when
Oh
Chris.
man.
Well, I don't know if you guys could see this when he dressed up like Cupid. Can we please talk about this? When he dressed up like, first of all, look at this little baby face. Dressed
Yeah.
up like Cupid because we usually have something called Carnation Day,
Hmm.
and it's all about popularity at that point. But it was
Yeah.
always a good way to kind of just tell someone that you love them without saying that I love you. And it was like just sending those carnations always gave that boost. And unfortunately, when you have certain people who are just not, they're not that outgoing, they're introverted, they don't want that spotlight. This was also a good way for them to, feel loved too, because I feel like our class, we always took care of everyone. Like it didn't matter
We
what, you know?
we did. We
Yeah.
did. And when I did that, I had that basket full of carnations and I was giving it to people that didn't have.
Yes.
And it's yeah, and it's crazy. I think about that now and you bring that back. And I'm like, man, unknowingly, I was already serving and I didn't even know.
Amen. Yeah.
I was doing it for attention. Like, I want to be the center of attention. I'm Chris Torres.
Yeah.
But in all reality, I was the people that weren't getting anything because they weren't part of that popularity contest.
Mhm.
I was, hey, oh man, you didn't get a card, you didn't get a connection. Okay, here you go. And that was me walking through the hallways, not doing any school.
Well, it was anything to get out of class, right?
Oh, here, hey, you ready? Here's a fun fact that on top of that. So I remember I said I used to do every holiday, right? Well, when I did Easter and dressed up as the Easter bunny,
See,
and I
that's not
had
in there. I'm like, where
no,
was that?
no, it's not. But I'm being that I live downtown on Fifth Street, I had to take the 88 bus home every day, and I got on the 88 bus dressed up as the Easter bunny, and on my way home I realized I said, "What the heck am I doing? Why am I dressed up as the Easter bunny?"
I
So I
love
think
it.
the Easter bunny was the straw that broke the camel's back. I think
Yeah.
after that I ain't dressed up no more.
You were like, it's a wrap. It's done. No more. So,
I think I
okay,
even had
and
a tail.
what? It had a tail.
I think
I don't
it
remember.
had a
Oh, no.
tail.
Yes,
I
I
did. I had a
do.
little tail. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. I can't.
Yep.
Well, plug us in. Plug us in. Tell us what you're doing now with your coaching. Obviously, you have your shirt on, Future Stars. Tell us about that and, how they can be involved, especially down in Florida. Plug us in.
Word. So here's the plug. I started coaching football down here about 7 years ago. I was actually at the time I was working special operations with the Navy SEALs and stuff as a contractor. And my last trip out was in 2017 to Africa. So I decided, I need to come back home. I need to change jobs. I'm having a son. And I can't put myself in direct harm's way anymore. Did it for too long.
Mm.
So now I'm home, not traveling anymore. I'm doing this mission planning job. And I said, man, I told my wife, I said, hey, I need to go coach football again. I did it in Jersey for a little bit when I was there. And I said, I want to go back and coach football. So I went to the city here and asked if they have any volunteer spots. And they said, yeah, sure. You're going to go and coach with this guy named Jeff and this and the other. So I show up and there's no head coach. And they end up saying, hey, Coach Torres, you're going to be the head coach. And so the team that I took over the year prior went 0-8. They didn't win a game at all. And this is kids ages 8 to 10. This was very young peewee football.
Right, right.
The year I took over, I was blessed to get two explosive ordnance disposal Air Force guys who are my assistant coaches.
Amazing.
And we took that team and we went 8-0 into the championship and we lost.
Mm.
Okay. No big deal. I mean, it happens. You don't lose, you learn.
Right.
And what I learned from that as a head coach is, you got to talk to the kids and bring their spirits up because they're upset. Which, oh, by the way, was probably one of the best games I've ever seen or coached. Because at the end of the game, at the end of the fourth quarter, it was still 0-0.
Wow.
We lost in overtime.
Wow.
So end of the game, we see the kids are upset. I'm talking to them. So down here where we're at, there's like 15 schools in one county. Whoa. But it's all spread out. It's not even like as popular as where you're at.
Right, right.
So a lot of these kids that are on my team, they all go to different elementary schools. Hmm. And they weren't upset that they lost. They were upset that the football season was over and they weren't going to see their friends that they just made on this team. Where at that point, that's where I learned. I said, you know what? I need to do this on a bigger scale. And that's what planting the seed for this. Planting the seed for Future Stars Football Clinic, myself and Coach Gideon Duke, Air Force guy, he lives in Colorado now. We started this program in the spring to basically teach the fundamentals of football to these kids. Right. So what we ended up doing was creating a program called Future Stars Football Clinic, which teaches the fundamentals of football. Okay, fundamentals in a non-contact, non-competitive area. And it's for ages 6 to 13, before they get to high school. That way, what we were trying to get out of it is now the kids know the fundamentals when they get in front of a coach, which does two great things. Makes the game more strategic for coaches because the kids have some type of idea, and makes the game more safe.
I want to
And
add a
that's
third.
what.
I think the third is like discipline.
Oh yeah, true. But
I think discipline is amazing. That's why I appreciate sports, even if you're not even a sports person. Like
yeah,
that discipline.
and that's what we really push with this clinic. So we went more than just football, because football is a sport. And what I tell people, um, you know, about this program when we're looking for sponsors. So if you are listening, you can sponsor, and I'll plug all the websites and all that stuff and the
Awesome.
YouTube, so you can see what we do. But when I talk to potential sponsors, and they're like, "Oh, I don't like football. It's too gruesome. It's glad." I was okay, cool. Do you like art? And they'll be like, "Yeah, I love art. Who's your favorite artist?" And they say Van Gogh or Picasso. I
Uh,
said, perfect, perfect. So you love art, you love Van Gogh, you love Picasso. Football is the canvas that I'm using to paint my Picasso or
mm,
Van Gogh. So
mm,
I'm asking you to come and help and serve the community, and every little bit helps. So what we ended up doing our first year, we had 60 kids come out, okay, and it was free. Well, actually, it was $20 the first year.
okay.
$20 for an 8-week clinic, 8 weeks, 8 Saturdays in a row. You can't go to a conditioning clinic anywhere in any of these areas that you're not going to pay $400 or $500 for.
Easy.
So
Easy.
20, yeah, so $20. We had 80 kids, 60 kids come out the first year, and we had 10 sponsors. So I had to go talk to sponsors with nothing. Like, here,
This
it's
is
an
it.
idea. It's an idea. I don't have anything to show you. I need you to believe in me. So we had ten sponsors believe in me, and we were able to kick off the first annual Future Stars Football Clinic. Fast forwarding, I don't want to go too much into the detail. That clinic, those 8 weeks, is not all just football. Two
Mm,
of the weeks are serving the community. So
amazing.
the kids don't know it. They'll come out on Saturday and they're like, "Hey, yeah, football, psych. Hey, 60 kids, we're gonna go do a food drive." We fed 106 families,
Wow.
and since this is Fort Walton Beach,
Mm,
we have beautiful beaches down here in the Panhandle, and
mhm.
one of those community services, actually, we go and we clean the beach as well, and then just hang out on the beach for a day.
Yeah.
So and we did that the first year. It was amazing. Fast forwarding year 2, 3, and 4, which 4 we just finished. Year 2 we had about 150 kids come out and 14 sponsors. So we added 4 more.
Yeah.
Year 3 was last year for COVID,
Mm,
and the goal was to have 250 kids sign up. We hit 250 kids, and then COVID happened.
awful.
And then COVID happened, and every clinic in this area canceled. But I had momentum.
You didn't
I
cancel.
had mom. I didn't.
Good for
I
you.
thought about it. And I said, I have momentum. I'm going to do one or two things. We're going to follow the CDC guidelines, and with all my volunteers who are active duty military, student athletes, because again, this is where we're the full circle.
Right.
The student athletes need volunteer hours for college.
Yes, they do.
So not only do you come back and get volunteer hours, I'm teaching you how to be the full circle.
Right.
So you know, year 3, COVID happened, and I'm like, you know what? I sit down with the volunteers 2 weeks prior to the clinic and tell them, here, give them what to expect, what we're gonna do, and have them buy in on what I'm talking about right now.
Mm,
So I said, you know what, we're gonna do the clinic, and we're either gonna do one or two things. We're either gonna spread COVID all over the Panhandle, and people are gonna hate Future Stars Football Clinic, or we're gonna be the program to lead by example.
right.
And that's what we did. We kicked it off, and granted, 250 kids signed up, only 70 showed because the climate,
Right. Right.
and we did 5 weeks instead of 8,
Hmm.
but we had 0 cases, and we had 30 sponsors sponsor us that year.
Wow.
Fast forward, we actually just finished the clinic last month.
Hmm.
Uh, we had another 250 kids sign up this year, 45 local and national sponsors.
Wow.
And the mayor's behind it down here. I actually talked to him the other day.
Excellent.
I coach his grandson in middle school,
Oh,
and I told him the other day. I said, when I made the decision to push through year 3 during COVID, I said the mayor's either going to be really pissed off at me or very happy.
right.
And I told him that, and he started laughing because we really didn't talk about me going and doing it,
Right.
and I did it anyway. So no, we're pushing, and we bring NFL players to come hang out with the kids, take
Awesome.
pictures, talk to them. And I had the opportunity to talk with Herschel Walker and Andre Reed, Hall of Famers, um, Charles Woodson, who's another helmet I have up there. So a lot of these guys are behind this program, and
Mhm.
we're just gonna keep pushing it. And what we do is every year we fundraise for the clinic. Like right now, the account is like $100,
Right.
but we keep getting more sponsors to every year. And then once we have residual left over, like what we did this year, I had 3 student athletes that go to Choctaw High School who are phenomenal athletes. And if we have any leftover money, it either rolls
A
over to the next
scholarship.
year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it either rolls over to the next year for the clinic, or we push the scholarship, but we pay it forward. And what we did this year is I took 3 student athletes to the
Mhm.
University of Alabama to work
Nice.
with Nick Saban.
Wow.
And so we paid for their Airbnb, we paid for their admission into the camp,
Mm.
and I took them up there. We made it a mentorship trip, and a
I
mentorship
love that.
slash trip slash family trip, because my wife and my son, we all went. We
Right.
rented an Airbnb and
Mm.
took them to the field, hung out with Nick Saban and his crew, and some of the kids are now starting to get looked at for D3 and D2 scholarships.
Right.
And and they all come from broken homes, every single one of those kids.
Wow.
So it's an opportunity that they probably would have never had if they didn't cross my path.
Right.
And that's my purpose. My purpose is to put people in opportunities that they're not normally going to have.
I mean, you just sealed it. You just sealed it. And that is possibly like the best plug that I can possibly think of. Um, Thank you so much for this, Chris. Like, I not only do I appreciate it, I hope our audience appreciates it. I will obviously tag future stars on our interview. I'll tag you on Instagram. Um, and we you can also subscribe to Planted Seed. We are on YouTube. You can also check out our page. We have a website, planted-seedgroup.com. Our Instagram page is Planted Seed Group. So thank you again, Chris. Thank you for taking time out of your day to say your story. And it's just so meaningful. And it's always good to see a fellow Bruin. And hopefully I get to see you at the reunion. Don't
Yeah, we'll figure it
don't
out.
dress
I'm gonna
up.
be
Please don't. I don't know, but don't dress up. Don't no outfits. Not look you. Wear your future star shirt. You're not gonna come
Yeah,
as like the bunny rabbit, okay? Like
no, Bunny Rabbit. That he's done. He's I buried the Bunny Rabbit.
oh no. Thank you again
Hey,
so much. Thank you, and thank you all for joining in on What's Your Story Wednesday. Have a great day.
later, guys.